Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to World Cup predictions for round 2 of the group stage. We have got the updated predictions league here. If you are a patron and got your predictions in last time, get your predictions in again as the table will be changing every game. We've added up every game up until Brazil versus Serbia. We'll add that onto the next lot. But well done to those of you at the top of the table. Keep your predictions coming to stay involved. I'm joined again by Sophie. How are you doing?
Yeah, very well. I'm not very good at these World Cup predictions, so I think the only way is up for me.
Well, maybe you can get better in the next ones. This video is being brought to you via BetMate. Now, BetMate are fantastic, and they've got so much going on while the World Cup's here. If you're into your fantasy football, download the link down below. Some of the pots are free. If you want to get involved in fantasy football and win prizes, like I say, you don't even have to pay. There's free pots. Then download the link for BetMate. They're absolutely fantastic. Get involved. We've all been having a crack at the fantasy football for the World Cup, so check them out. Let's get straight into the predictions, Sophie, starting with the hosts, Qatar. They take on Senegal. Both sides lost 2-0 in the opening day. Qatar lost 2-0 to Ecuador. Senegal lost 2-0 to Netherlands. Senegal have got a better team. I've said I think Qatar are rubbish. They're going to finish bottom of this group. 2-0 to Senegal.
Yeah, I did hear that Senegal are thinking of dropping Mendy in goal though, which I think could actually benefit them. He's having a shocker of a season. Qatar, I've got nothing else to say over them. Poor, absolutely shocking from them. So yeah, Senegal, 3-0 for me.
3-0 Senegal. Sticking in Group A, we now have Netherlands versus Ecuador. Now, this game is massive. As an England fan, I would rather Netherlands win this, because if Ecuador can beat Netherlands, Netherlands will probably finish second in this group, and that'll mean they probably play England in the next round. So we'd rather Netherlands win, because I don't really want to play them. I think this game will be close. They both won 2-0, but I think Netherlands have got enough to get another win here. I'll only say 1-0.
Okay, I'm going to say 2-1 to the Netherlands. I think Netherlands, they're a strong team, to be honest, so I agree we'd want to avoid them. But that's taking nothing away from Ecuador. I think they played really well against Qatar. However, that was against Qatar, and the Netherlands are a different kettle of fish. But I do think they'll score, so 2-1. Okay,
on to Group B. It's Wales versus Iran. Wales did fairly well to get that draw against USA. Back to 1-1, and Gareth Bale from the penalty spot rescued that draw. Meanwhile, Iran got dispatched by England 6-2. Iran need to improve defensively because they were a shambles against England, and they need to get something here at the same time. There's been a lot of 0-0s in this World Cup, so with that in mind, Wales 3-1.
Yeah, I thought there's no way you're going to say 0-0 for this. I don't think it's going to be as easy for Wales, to be honest. I think first half against USA they looked quite poor. However, Iran aren't the best team. They did put 2 past us, so got to give them a little bit of credit for that. But for me, Wales win 1-0.
Wales 1-0, big 3 points that would be. On to the next one, England take on USA. I think England will win this one. USA, as you said, Wales weren't good in the first half. I thought USA were good against them in the first half, but they seemed to drop off a little bit, and that allowed Wales back in. And a defeat here could put USA in a sticky situation going into that final game where they'd maybe need to beat Iran by quite a few goals. Who knows? I don't think soccer's coming home for the Americans. 3-0 England.
That just sounds so wrong, doesn't it? Soccer's coming home. Do you know what? I'm actually going to agree with you. I'm going to say 3-0. I was going to say 3-1, but I think because we've conceded 2 against Iran, one of our priorities is going to be a clean sheet now. And I think we could do it. It's not going to be easy, but I think we could do it. So 3-0.
3-0, wow. Okay, on to Group C. Now, our favourites, Saudi Arabia. They beat Argentina. Now they play Poland, and surely Poland's an easier game on paper than playing Argentina. Right, yeah. But I just don't know. I mean, if Saudi Arabia win this, they're probably going through that group, which would be amazing. Poland picked up a 0-0 against Mexico, so they probably need something a bit more than the Saudis. But the Saudis know they've got a very good chance of getting through this group now. Yeah. I think it'll be very tight. 1-1.
Oh no, do you know what? I'm going to back the Saudis to do it again. I think confidence is so high. Poland, I actually thought they looked a little bit poor, to be honest. So I think just going off of confidence at the moment alone, Saudi Arabia 1-0.
Okay, well, sticking in Group C, Argentina take on Mexico. Now, Mexico were involved in that 0-0 against Poland. Ochoa saving the penalty. Argentina need to win this after losing to Saudi Arabia. There's pressure on. They might not even top this group, which means they could play France in the next round. Another shock. Argentina 1, Mexico 2.
Oh, you think they're going to get done again? No, I think they need to bounce back. They do underperform Argentina. Like, they've done it quite a few times, and they obviously did it last game against Saudi Arabia. However, I think they're going to put everything into this game, and I can see them only winning it by 1-0.
1-0. Okay, right. Now on to Group D. Tunisia versus Australia. This is an interesting matchup. I think Australia were okay in the first half against France.
Yeah, they looked really good to begin with.
I suppose the quality of France shone through.
Yeah.
I think Aussies knew they weren't favourites to win that game, but they do now need to get something against Tunisia. Tunisia got a 0-0 against Denmark, which is actually a pretty good result. And if Tunisia now win this one, 4 points from those two games, they've got a very good chance of getting through. I think this could be very close, 1-1.
I'm going to say 0-0. I think it's going to be a stalemate. I think both teams are going to look to not lose this, and it's going to backfire, and just 0-0.
0-0. Okay, now it is France versus Denmark. This could be interesting. Denmark, quite a few people have expectations for in the World Cup, especially after getting to the semi-finals of the Euros last year. But 0-0 against Tunisia wasn't a great start, and now they've got the toughest game in their group, and they could be with 1 point from 2 games if they lose this, which I think they might. France were good, didn't get off to a good start, but they came back strong. I think they'll get a few goals, but Denmark maybe can breach them. I'll say an exciting 3-2 to France.
Okay. No, I think France, when they get going, they just look very good, and that's with quite a few important players out as well. I know they had another player, I think he had an ACL injury in the end, so that's a shame for him. But I think they're going to win this one fairly comfortably, so 2-0. Okay,
right. Next up, we move on to Group E, and Japan beat Germany. They now face Costa Rica, who got demolished 7-0. Yeah. Surely it's got to be a Japan win. And if Japan win this, 6 points from 2 games, they might get through what people called the group of death, because it's got Spain and Germany in, so very good from the Japanese. As for Costa Rica, they probably now need to win the final 2 games, knowing that their goal difference has been absolutely obliterated. Yeah. Japan win 2-0.
Yeah, I'm going to back the same. I'm going to say Japan 2-0. To beat Germany, they're obviously going to be on a high after that, and they're going to be thinking, could we top this group? I don't know if they will, but I think they are going to beat Costa Rica, because, to concede 7 on your opening game is not great. So, 2-0.
Right, now this is probably the game of this round of group fixtures, Spain versus Germany. Now, they both come into this with contrasting results. Germany losing to Japan, Spain obliterating Costa Rica, as we just said. I don't know, I feel like this could be a surprise. I think after that result, Germany need to win this. They need to. A draw won't be good enough. They need to win this, and I'm going to say they will. Spain were fantastic, but Spain won, Germany 3.
That would be a bit of a shock. I mean, I shouldn't be that surprised at that happening, because I actually do think Germany have got a good squad. But now I'm going to say Spain, they looked very, very good. To win 7-0, they're obviously doing something right. And what made me laugh as well, that Gary Neville came up before the game and said, I don't know where the goals are going to come from. Then they win 7-0. So I'm going to actually say they win again, 2-1. So tight game, but 2-1.
Okay, next up, Group F, Belgium versus Morocco. Now, I've got to say, Belgium weren't convincing against Canada. No. They only won 1-0.
I think Canada looked good, though, so...
That's what I mean. Canada made Belgium look second best. Yeah. But the important thing is Belgium did get the win. Yeah. And I think it could be a similar story here. Morocco were actually all right. They got a 0-0 draw. But maybe Belgium edge another ugly game, 1-0.
Do you know what? I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say 1-0 as well. I was not impressed by Belgium at all. I think they made Canada look really good. Not taking anything away from Canada, because I think they played really well. But to say they won that game, you almost think that's a bit of a robbery, to be honest. And I think they're going to do it again. So, 1-0.
Okay, next up, this is interesting. Croatia versus Canada. Now, Croatia were not at their best. They got a 0-0, and the pressure's on that they need to win this game, because their final game is then against Belgium. And if they don't win this, they then need to beat Belgium. Canada... They've played the toughest game of the group, unlucky not to get something. Yeah. On paper, is this one maybe slightly easier? Possibly. Just don't go missing any penalties, and I'll say 1-1.
I'm going to say 2-0 Canada.
Whoa.
Yeah, do you know what it is? They had the chances, they just weren't clinical enough. So I think that's all they're going to be working on, and they're going to come back firing. So 2-0 for me.
Wow, okay, that is quite interesting. Next up, we have got Cameroon up against Serbia. Now, as we've just mentioned, we're recording this just before Brazil take on Serbia, but we did see Cameroon just lose 1-0 to Switzerland. It wasn't great. I mean, I think a lot of us thought Cameroon might come bottom of this group, but if they could get something here, they give themselves a chance. It has to be a win. I think this will be a 0-0 draw.
I'm going to back a draw as well. However, I'm going to say 1-1. I do see there being just a couple of goals, so 1-1.
Okay, now next up could be interesting. Switzerland versus Brazil. Now, Switzerland did beat Cameroon, as we just said, and Brazil are taking on Serbia tonight, as we've just mentioned. So tricky to judge based on the fact at the time of recording this, we haven't seen Brazil play.
Yeah.
Brazil 2-1.
I'm going to say Brazil 3-1. I think Brazil are very, very strong going forward. They have obviously got a few good defenders as well, but I can see them actually conceding against Switzerland. So 3-1 for me.
3-1. Okay, and on to the final group. We've got South Korea versus Ghana. Now, Ghana put in a great performance against Portugal, just unlucky to lose 3-2. Meanwhile, South Korea got a 0-0 against Uruguay, and I thought they were quite good in that game. It's a decent point. And this is the one where both sides will look at as the more winnable game in their group. I think the loser of this will come bottom of the group. And I don't think there'll be a loser. 1-1.
Yeah, I can see this being actually quite a tight game. However, I'm going to back Ghana to win. I think they played quite well against Portugal, and I can see them winning 2-1.
Wow, okay, that would be massive. It'd blow the group right open. And then the last game, pretty interesting as well, Portugal versus Uruguay. Now, Uruguay have got pressure on them after not beating South Korea. And against Portugal, I don't know. This could be a really open game. I'm going to end on another draw and say 1-1.
Yeah, I do think this is going to be quite a tight game. However, I'm going to back Portugal to win 2-1. I think Uruguay, they've got good forward players, but yeah, slightly underperforming for me, and I think Portugal are just going to slightly edge it, so 2-1.
2-1. There you go, guys. Make sure to get your predictions down below to stay in the Predictions League. Get them in before tomorrow morning, because the next lot of games will be kicking off. Make sure to like and subscribe. We will see you all in the next one. Peace out.